Hey guys, how are you today? So, uh, today we are going to talk about another area of focus for a CISO, and today we are going to talk about number seven, which is implementing a zero trust model. Now, zero trust sometimes is used like a buzzword in today's cybersecurity landscape. Um, Even though it's a buzzword, it's actually very important if you understand what it talks about and what it is. It's very much required in today's infrastructure, and to be honest, it's not that complex unless you want it to be complex. It's not that complex to understand it, how it works and understand how to implement it. So some of the things that I would like to start off with is what is zero trust model. Basically, it is don't trust anyone and verify someone every single time, whether they're trying to access um, something very low level or high level, important, not important, whether they are internal employees, executives, third party vendors who have contracts or even contract workers, and even outsiders in case they do have any other outsiders in case they do have access to your environment. Any kind of access has to be checked and has to be verified that the person is who the person says is, and it has to be checked every single time. That's basically a zero trust model. It's you don't trust anyone and verify them all the time. Even if they have verified themselves in the morning, you verified them 5 minutes later, you verified them half an hour later, in the middle of the day, end of the day. Whenever you choose is convenient and tolerable to the end user, but you do check them every single time they access anything in your environment. So having said that, it's without making things too complex, because this is one space I've seen complexity build upon the things that are very simple to implement. So don't add complexity to this. I would say just take care of three things or three areas of focus when you're trying to implement a zero trust model. The first thing is, because you're talking about access, if you can define and have a good identity and access management program where your identities using which people access stuff, if that is solid and controlled, and you have an approach where you use the right identities in a right way and have them access the things that they should um, and need to, not necessarily all the access, all the resources that they can access, but they should be restricted to what they need to access. So have a good identity and access management program, have a strong control over it, because that's where um, that's how people can access your resources, the good actors, the employees, and the bad actors, the outsiders, the threats. Second thing, because it talks about access, it has to be access into something. So definitely it has to be something that's on the network, whether internal network, in a shared network, cloud, whatever kind of network. It's an access into resources on the network. Um, so when you have an identity and access management program, you also need to have a good network control. In other words, you need to have a good network segmentation, because your network segmentations helps you with controlling and identifying what a certain ID or a group of ID needs to have access to, and that helps you better control the scope of their access. So if you implement these two things, identity and access management as well as network segmentation, a lot of your worries about implementation of zero trust will be taken care of. Once you have that in place, the third thing that you have to do is, you can't just set the first two things and then forget it. You also have to monitor, because let's say even though you have an identity and access management program, let's say I have an identity, my identity could be compromised. So even though I am supposed to be a good actor or an internal employee, if my identity is compromised, then anyone who has access to my identity can access the resources that I need access to, or I'm supposed to have access to. So, to avoid that, we need to have continuous monitoring and continuous analytics in place. Um, your SIM solution, very, very important to have that in place here. So I would say three things: identity access management, network segmentation, and continuous monitoring. You take care of these three things, you are well on your way to cover what zero trust model is all about. Um, so that's the thought for today, and hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, like your experiences with zero trust models. If you have implemented something simple, something complex, let me know. Share your ideas. Thank you, and we will touch base. We'll see you tomorrow or any other day. Thank you.